Hey there, it's Dave of Flipperforce. Got to open our Companies and Contacts Manager that you can use to manage all of your companies, contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers that you're going to be working with on your rehab and construction projects. So we just pushed up a new update that revamped a couple things. So this was really one of the last tools that we really hadn't gone back through and revamped some of the old functionality that was in there. So we just wanted to go back and get some of this addressed before we move on to some of our new features that we're going to be building over the next couple months. So one of the first things we did was we revamped the table in here. So on our expense tracker, our task manager, we added in some new functionality to those tools that allow you to export to CSV, allow you to sort your data and search your data. So all of those features that we added over to those tools, we've added them to our Companies and Contacts Manager. So you can go over here and you can sort all of your companies and contacts alphabetically. So if you want to quickly kind of see all of your companies and contacts in alphabetical order, you can sort and filter by clicking this little icon here. So you can basically do that for any different column that you've got in this table. You can also sort by rating. So if you want to see the highest rated contractors in your companies area, you could do that as well. And then you can also search. So if you're having trouble finding something, or if you're just trying to look for a certain type of contractor, let's say you want to look up ABC Rehab to find their contact information, you could quickly look them up using that search functionality. Otherwise, maybe you're looking for a concrete company or something like that. If you had concrete contractors added into your companies and contacts list, you could search for concrete and hopefully find your contact that way. Otherwise, we also added in some new functionality for exporting your data. So if for whatever reason you want to export all of your contacts out of the companies and contacts area, you can use that copy and CSV functionality to export it to a CSV spreadsheet file, or you can export it to a PDF. So those will be some new usability improvements for the overall contact manager table that'll hopefully allow you to better search and find your different data and contacts that you've got in the contact manager. Another thing that we added was new functionality on the companies page here. So basically we added in some new functionality for the ratings and reviews. So if you want to leave some additional context for a review for a contractor, maybe you've had a bad experience with the contractor, you could say, don't use this contractor ever again. He was bad and didn't show up. And then you can give them a 1-star rating. So this new text box will just give you a little bit more ability to add some context to why you're giving that contractor a 1-star rating. But this is all internal stuff. It's not like you're going to be posting this to a Google reviews page or anything. This is just a way for you to track your experience with a contractor internally for your company. You can see you've got some other contact information, street address, stuff like that. But one of the other big features that we added in here was a new tax and insurance information area. So this is going to allow you to upload the company's tax information, so their tax ID, and then upload their W-9. So that way you have all that information when you go to file 1099s at the end of the year. So you can just upload their company tax ID, whatever that is, and then you'll select, are they 1099 eligible or not. So there's a couple things that determine if a company is going to be 1099 eligible. This is really for companies that are not corporations. So if a company is not a corporation, then usually you'll file a 1099 if you've paid them over $600 in a given year. So I think that's the tax requirement there for a 1099. Eventually what we'll do here is we're going to be adding in a new 1099 report. So if you use our expense tracker tool to track all of your expenses and see how much you've paid to your contractors on your projects, you'll be able to use that new 1099 report to basically show how much you've paid to an individual contractor in a year. And then if you've checked this as yes, as they're 1099 eligible, basically meaning they're not a corporation, then they'll show up on that report, and then you'll be able to see how much you owe or how much you need to file on your 1099s for tax season. So that's going to be coming down the road, hopefully by the end of the year, so that way you have that for tax season next year. Otherwise, you can upload workers' comp and general liability insurance. So basically, are they insured or aren't they insured? Hopefully you're working with insured contractors on your projects, and then you can set an expiration date of when their insurance is going to be expiring, so that way you can have that information on file and make sure that they have active invalid insurance that hasn't expired. So eventually with this functionality, we'll probably be adding in an email notification that notifies you to say, hey, ABC Rehabs or whoever contractor this is, their insurance has expired, so you need to follow up with them to get new insurance. And again, you can upload that proof of insurance as a PDF or an image. So I think that new functionality there is going to be valuable for you, just to globally kind of save some additional information for your contractors from a tax and insurance perspective. So that's a quick update on the companies and contacts area. Hope you like those new updates. One thing I will clarify is we did kind of change the overall layout here, and just wanted to clarify a few things between, what is the difference between a company and a contact. So a company is going to be a business or a company, a subcontractor, a supplier that you're actually doing business with, that you're paying on your contractors or that's working on your projects. Whereas a contact is really just kind of an person or an individual. Maybe it's an employee that's in a company, so you can actually assign a contact to a company. So that's kind of the main difference there. So contacts can be anybody that you're wanting to store here. Maybe it's a home buyer, maybe it's a home seller. It could be your mother-in-law or any kind of other personal contact that you want to store in here. You can store that here for the general contacts, but for the most part, I think you are going to be using the companies way more than you're going to be using the contacts. Companies you can assign to expenses. So if you go over here to the expense tracker, you can assign the expense to a company. So you can see it says company here, and then you can assign that expense to a company, and you can track to see how much you've spent and paid to that individual company or vendor on your project. Kind of the same thing on the project scheduler. You can assign scheduled tasks to a company. So if you want to assign it to a contractor, you can do that as well. So that's kind of the main difference there, just for clarification, is that companies are people that you're doing business with, people that you are paying on your projects, and then people that are working on your projects. Contacts are more of just kind of a general database for storing individuals and stuff like that. So again, hopefully you like those new updates that we posted to the Companies and Contacts Manager. If you have any questions or anything, let us know.